Okay, let's start with the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, Victoria, for our roll call, please.
Albrecht.
Here.
Bathlo. Day. Gurecki. Serrano.
Here.
Warrenzak.
Here.
Bono.
Okay.
Warren.
Okay, commissioner statement, John, do you want to? No. Okay.
So, just for everyone knows, Mr. Dave, his brother passed away earlier this week. He's a fireman and only passed away from cancer. So now, okay, the mission of the Herkimer County Industrial Development Agency delivers economic incentives to business and industry to diversify and strengthen Herkimer County's tax base and enhance community vitality by supporting job creation, business and industrial development, and community revitalization. We strive to develop the local economy in an organized, sustainable, and environmentally beneficial manner.
Thank you very much. Minutes were all sent to everyone, for April 30th and the public hearing for the 29th of May. Are there any additions, deletions, corrections? Blah, blah, blah. Any? All right, need a motion to accept the April 30th. John, second, Mike, discussion. In favor, aye. Any opposed, nay. Carried. I need a motion on the public hearing for the EPR of water. Minutes. John again, second by Lori, discussion, John.
We attended, we went to Old Forge and did the public hearing up there. Really, there were no questions. They asked a little bit about the pilot. The pilot is a 10-year, starting at 50% of the taxes and then 5% each year paying it up, our standard pilot. One of the things that I don't know they were aware of, that for Enchanted Forest, the water park alone, they only paid combined $65,000 a year in property tax, property and school tax, which is extremely low. So, you know, it's not our job to work with the assessors. So you mentioned they should probably talk with the assessors, but for a long time, they've really gotten away with very low property taxes. So I don't feel as though anything that the IDA is doing up there to help support this business really is jeopardizing any large revenue to the town of Webb.
How they received that? How they received it when you told them?
I would say that they were a little bit in shock. You know, it's hard. You have,
It can be in shock.
well, because you have 5 part-time
I
people.
know.
We can't, there's 30 municipalities in here, all around the state. There's 5 individuals. They cover everything from police to dog catching to everything else. How can they keep track of everything? So they just can't.
What's their main business?
No,
up there?
it's-
You'd think it would be.
Well, I think they were,
Somebody would pick that.
well, I
up.
think they look more towards the amount of people coming into the community. I don't think they really looked at that before, but I think they are, no pun intended, reassessing everything up there now. We looked at the other 2 properties too. They are about the same, not 65,000. They're actually less, but they're about assessed the same way.
The camping would not.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's not camping. I learned another thing too when I was up there in the campgrounds. People live year round.
I know.
Yeah, I didn't know you could do that in a campground. So we learned a lot about the town of back there. They were not angry at all, right, Victoria? No. You know, we've all often been up there offering to help them with many different things. They don't really have anything on the horizon. They do complain about housing because they can't keep teachers or policemen or new managers anywhere because there's not that type of level of housing up there. So I don't know. It's interesting. It's interesting.
Okay. motion to-
Who exactly is they that was, they resigned?
The town board.
The town board. And was anyone from EP?
No,
EPR Water?
no. Nobody usually, when we do these, come to any of them. you know, none of the, not even, no, because nobody ever really shows up at the public hearing. It's very bizarre. One of the first ones I did, someone came because they thought JBF Stainless made flatware. He used to make flatware 60 years ago, so he wanted to hear about a new flatware company. So, yeah, we just don't. But there was, I think they had something in the board prior to us getting there, don't we, Victoria, because there was 4 of them there.
They must have had another meeting
Yeah.
prior to.
Yeah, and then, you know, of course, we were there about a half an hour, 40 minutes, and then we left. So, but it went smoothly. There was no issue about it.
We have a motion and second discussion, any further? All in favor, aye. Any opposed, nay. Carried. Your April financial reports are on page 8 to 15. And any,
No, everyone's paid up. We also did draw down from the county, the money to purchase the 4 corners, which we'll be talking about in a little bit. We're financially good still at this point. We see everything moving ahead in a positive direction. We have a bunch of other projects we'll be talking about that will bring in additional revenues. We're not seeing a slowdown out there from smaller businesses to larger. So it's been a very positive right now.
need a motion to accept the financials, or are there any other, comments on? No, okay. Mike, second by Karen Sparano, discussion. All in favor, aye. Any opposed, nay. Let's go to, Michael Enterprise Grant, Berkeley's Property Management, page 16 to 29. Startup business, Jan, one with.
Well, actually, I'm gonna turn it over to Jen, but a couple of things that we did talk about first. Griffey's has several different companies. She is definitely a A-type personality and really likes to see a market that's open and get involved in it. This is the first time she'll be getting the micro enterprise grant, if you all decide. Some of the other ones she did receive were, I think, 222 and the CARES micro enterprise. So, but this is a different venture. I like the premise of this type of venture too, because of the fact that she's gonna be like another supply type business, you know. I don't know if that one's still open in Omega County that used to be over by Shenantries or not. It was like that you know, it was the older type product that people brought in and you could buy it at a less expensive thing. Yeah, and that's what she's gonna kind of.
Bargain outlet?
Yeah, well, kind of like a bargain outlet, yeah. So, is it still open? So, yeah, so, you know, she pays whatever we did in the past. They seem, we haven't seen any issues with their other businesses. So I don't know, Jen, if you want to talk a little bit more about like how some of the fees work and things. And how when they request the money, how we decide what they have to.
Oh, sure. Yeah, so Griffey's is requesting 35,000, and they're going to be adding 5 employees to their business. So they're able to request a full 35,000. The way the micro enterprise grant works is it's a reimbursement program. So if the application is approved today, then Griffey's is not able to draw down any of the funds until they have paid that money out. So they will have to submit their receipts or any payroll documentation. Because they're adding jobs, they'll also have to supply applications that for people that were interviewed, as well as family income forms, because part of the micro enterprise grant is to make those jobs available to low to moderate income people within the community as well. So once that goes through the process of approval, if it does, then she would submit documentation that shows that that money was paid out, and then it's a reimbursement program for the drawdown up to 90%.
Do they have to submit that in 145s
Mhm.
to show the employee, so not just.
They do, yes. It's not just applications, also the NY.
Within the application, isn't there a special sheet in there that with the income eligibility, that form, do they do that, like what we had Tractor Supply do, when they do send it on to them?
Yes, that's the family
family
income
income
form.
form.
Yes, that they do have to do that, yeah. And anyone that she interviews for those positions will fill those out, as well as people that are hired for those positions will submit those.
What's the period of time for the new positions? Is there a length of time where they have
Gotta ramp up. the
Yeah, so they have to get up to 5 within the amount of the grant time, which is 2 years as of when we received the award letter, which was October. So they are able to fill it within that amount of time.
Thanks. You're renting a building, you know, they rent, own the building, right? The way we do it, you're renting a building, they don't own this building.
Correct, they lease the building.
Good question. The motion to approve that, grant. Corey, second, John, any discussion? Favor aye. Opposed, nay. Okay. Item 7, project fee schedule for bonding, page 30.
So, so we've been doing, we've done one bond in the past, and now we're looking to do another, private activity bond. Every year, New York State gives us so much money to bond. This year was, $2.4 million. The project that we're looking to do a bond on is the one that's at the ELG factory. ELG over in Frankfurt sold their business to, sold their building to another company that is going to be leasing it to a company called Container Fair. And they're putting together their capital stacking now. And one of the things they were looking to do is get some bond support from New York State. So in these private activity bonds, IDAs are able to do that. We're working with another attorney at Hodgkin Russ on this. So what we haven't done in the past is done a fee for this. And talking with the new attorney at Hodgkin Russ, and then also a couple of other IDAs when we were at our last conference, they all have these fees in place. We didn't really know if we'd ever do these, but it's pretty funny that, but there's a couple other companies now interested. And New York State really hasn't been spending a dollar, so we're taking bond allocation from other communities, and that really works out well for us. So we want to put in place a fee schedule for that, and you can see it's in yours on page 30, right? So we wanted to bring that to your attention, and this is what we're looking to do.
And it's industry standard.
Yeah, we're not the highest and we're not the lowest. So, you know, as you get closer to the city, everything goes up. But up here, we're right on cue for all of that.
Comments on the fees we proposing here? Motion to accept. Mike, second, John, discussion?
I'll just say one more thing.
I got you.
So it is, we also get our agency fees, so this is on top of our agency fee, the bond projects fee as well. So just keep that in, there's 2 fees.
Favor aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Carried.
And if anybody wants any more definition on bonding, I asked the attorney to send me a brief paragraph, and it's 2.5 pages long, so you're more than welcome to review it at any time. They get paid by the word. I don't realize it's.
I don't think much about it.
Me either.
Oh, I don't need your.
No, that's okay. Or would you rather have an email?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
I'll send it to you.
You can see.
Item 8, Aldrich Trucking and Sawing, our new, inside of business park, 3 items, application for financial assistance. The CBA, those are on pages 31 through 34, John, want to give us?
I gotta say one thing, if you get a chance to go into Skylar, he bought, so a couple things that really helped us along here, this was the property that Pacemaker Steel was gonna do their addition on, or their new facility on. They opted out of that. If we would have bought the property back and had to resell it, it's a long time frame, plus it's additional cost, and we know how Tony likes to tack on a lot of additional cost. He has one of these up there. So they bought directly from Pacemaker. They're working closely with C2C, Gaetano Pipe Construction, whatever you want to call them now. And he is already cleaning up his site. He already has a Swift mailbox out there. He's got the silk fence around. He is the most managed individual when it comes to site I have ever seen for development. And I haven't been doing this long. But when you go out there, it is just perfectly lined up, everything. and he just knows where everything is, and he's got everything just moving in. I would hire him for every project to do site development. He's fantastic. He really is. So he came to us and talked about his project. He had a building in Frankfurt on Broad Street, right? But I don't know what happened there. I didn't ask, but he had to leave that building. Probably, yeah. And what else is funny too is when we had him in earlier talking, and we had another trucking company that Jen was talking to about getting a micro enterprise loan. I was like, "That guy has beautiful trucks." I mean, these guys all know what a great guy he is. So we'd like to move ahead with this project. He submitted his application. He's doing a Butler building, so that's nowadays, me and Jimmy had a meeting with them yesterday. Their materials and everything are coming in faster. The pricing is dropping on steel for Butler buildings, which is great. So we're seeing this as a good operation, about 26 jobs right now. He is gonna have over, I don't know what you call it, not enclosed, but covered structure to have some salt in, not a lot. He has other facilities around, but he likes to keep some there to load his guys right up to get them out. But I think he truly will be an asset to the park. So just my opinion on everything, and from working with him, you know, just the way that we see that park just looking so much better. So
26 additional jobs?
no, those are 26 that'll move over there. Yep, he does plan on adding some, but we all know how difficult it is to find those jobs. Then when we get to the cost benefit analysis, you know, locally, he's 44-1, statewide, he's 3-1. So when you average it out, it's 26-1. This is a great project. This really checks all the boxes.
John, will you carry the product that he's selling on site there?
Some, not a lot. He's not building that big of an area, but some he does, because like in the winter, he does support a lot of areas for plowing and things. And then, you know, his trucks are big, so not far from there, heading towards Herkimer, he owns, what is that? Not a quarry, but when you bought Giuliano, or you bought.
Oh, yeah, that's screening for tops.
No topsoils?
Not far from there.
He's gonna move there.
No, no, oh, no.
It's not
He'll do screen, but he's gonna keep that operation going there.
It's
So,
small.
It's for commercial, not retail.
yeah, no, there'll be some
So
retail.
you go up with a truck and just swoop and drop it in.
Well, he'll bring it to you. I don't know if he does pickup trucks, close, does he? Oh, well, you have that big truck.
Yeah, I was just wondering if he's in a product.
Yeah, some product there, but he's very well organized. He's clean. He's, yeah. And he wants, you know, just like, Calucci, they want a nice office and a nice conference room, because they've never had them. And they really want to show off their businesses, and they feel strongly too about what's going on with Micron and all the development, so they really want to see that, so. I'm happy to have him there. I'll just tell you, he's been very good so far. I mean, really good.
Hey, John.
Yes,
After this space, how much is left that's vacant in the park?
about 3.4 acres. We have that agreement for the 60 in the back that's in place with Huber Brewer. And then there was a spot that we had a small gentleman interested in that front area, but he never came through. We actually never deposited his check either. We kind of had feelings. But I've been showing that property now up in the front, and that's it.
Yeah,
Full of the park, you see local gas building already. They poured the pads, we were told yesterday. Then you got Calucci Trucking, you know, you got Home Depot. Moravito's already got one of their tanks in there. Which Skylar Wood Pellet, or whatever their new name is, they're all cleaning up there too. So it's really looking very good there. So it's pretty complete.
yeah, that's what I thought.
Okay, let's, do the application, we have to do the application and the cost benefit analysis and first, with a motion. Lori second, Mike, discussion further, All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Carried.
I don't know if I said this before, but when Ryan was first looking at the property, I made a mistake and told him it was 10 acres. It was actually 15. So I was thinking, well, we're gonna have to subdivide out 5 acres, and then he said, no, I'll just take all 15. So I was very grateful for that mistake, but, when you go there, you please get a chance to go see the park, because it really has changed a lot in the past 6 months. You'll see how he has everything laid out, it's just to a T, and those 15 acres are.
Thanks, let's set up public hearing, we need a motion for, the date. Cory, second. Dan,
John, can we
Yes,
induce the project before we set the public hearing?
or we'll tell you a date after that, okay.
okay, let's skip to the inducement first, page 45 to 49. Tony, any, comments on this?
Full speed ahead, guys. Guys, great to work with. Gonna go fast.
The town's on board, we've met with the town several times, they're moving ahead with it. Town codes, enforcer gave them, an okay to put start doing the, basic clearing and everything, so they know what's going on. He's been more than open with everything.
So,
No, I don't.
No, on the agenda, we need one.
All right, need a motion, for the inducement resolution, Mike? Second by Cory, thank you. Any discussion? Okay, right?
No.
Right, any opposed, nay? And, same, we did mention for, you get that down?
Yeah.
Any discussion there? All in favor, aye? Any opposed, nay? Carried.
The public hearing will be Friday morning at 8 o'clock.
All right, item number 9, ST 60 extension requests for the, federal projects there, Jen.
So we've been talking about these Sunny's, the solar projects. There's actually 4 of them, soon to be 5, but 4 right now. 3 that we've done, getting through giving them the, ST60s for sales tax abatement. They're gonna expire out. The projects all went back in front of NYSERDA to, get reassessed and to get set up for their financing. So right now, they're looking to move ahead. We've worked with them. We're gonna give them an extension to, what's the date? October?
October.
Yeah. So we're only gonna give them an extension to October because we wanna close on these 3 and actually get going on the Miller's Grove project as well. So we need to extend their ST60, their sales tax abatement, right now till October. After we close to them, we'll be coming back and looking for a further extension, but their projects were put on hold because of the way the state changed the financing situation there, and they have to go back and reapply. Do we need to do each one individually? We should probably.
No, John, you can move to do all 3 of them to the same date.
Need a motion? Mike, second, Cory. Thank you. Any discussion? In favor, aye? Any opposed? No, a little more. Okay, thank you. Any nays? Oh, okay, motion fails. Item number 10, Whitmer local development. What's on it?
No, there is no other name. It is the Masonic. He wants to change the name. You can call them all.
What do you got going there, John?
So after talking with our council on this, it's best to move ahead with doing a pilot program for the Masonic. We need to have a public hearing on this as well. We did put in an application for financial assistance. Because it's a well, not yet, but it will be a 501c3, but it is registered as a tax exempt group in New York State currently, so we're covered there. And then when you take a look at the ratio over the cost benefit analysis, the page is there. I think it's yours, I'll turn these pages. We're still looking at a 7-to-1 local and a 1-to-1 state, which is most of our solar projects, so we're still looking to benefit the community. And we are gonna give this a 30-year pilot. Now, what this means is just for what is utilized from us. When we start bringing in other people, like for the shared office area, co-working space, or people utilizing the kitchen, or any of those things, we will make that taxable. But right now, to start, to get everything through, to keep it clean, right? Is that why we did this, Shannon?
Yeah, so five
And
there.
I should say, I'm sorry. So those of you who don't know, this is Shannon Wagner. She's with Hodgkin Rush. She's an up and comer, graduated from SU.
Yes.
I'm all proud of that too. She's a local. And drove in this morning from the big city of Albany, so thank you.
Happy to be here. Yeah, so there is a section of the real property tax law that grants 501c3 organizations a real property tax exemption, but that exemption is very limited. And typically 501c3 organizations can only enjoy a real property tax exemption if they're using the property specifically for their exempt purpose. Because this property is owned by the LDC, but will include the IDA and some potentially other like profitable business lessors. We're doing a real property tax exemption through the IDA because the IDA's real property tax exemption is very broad. And the statute says any property under the control, jurisdiction, or ownership of the IDA is exempt. So it's just easier to include the IDA and do an application process and a straight lease transaction to lock in that real property tax exemption.
I think there's still a lot of questions with the LDC. I have them all the time. We're constantly reaching out. I just think that, there's some things that we'll do as we progress and, we might falter on a few things, but as long as we find the problems that we have and fix those, I think we'll be good.
And we're happy to answer any questions that you have and that the board has.
At any time too. It doesn't have to be today. If you don't think of anything today, just reach out to me.
Absolutely.
I have a quick question. So to the point where, it'll be a mixed use property, we'll have other tenants. So do I understand this pilot will also allow the LDC to not have to pay the tax on those tenants?
So that might be something that we approach as other entities come in. Like I said, the IDA's exemption can exempt the whole property because it'll be part of the straight lease transaction. But in the future, if you rent out a portion of the space to a for-profit entity and you want that entity to pay tax on that portion of the space, we can carve that part of the building out and have the assessor tax that separately.
That's always been our plan. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like,
Okay, so this won't, sort of circumvent that, we can revisit that.
oh, I think that's what I explained. I know in the beginning that everybody's opinion was, yes, as we brought in business that was taxable, we were definitely going to tax them. And so I'm thinking it's gonna take 2 years, right, to get this going. What if co-working space goes away in 2 years and we want to lease that second floor to somebody else? Or, the first floor, we can do that, and then collect taxes and get back to the village, so. For the village,
That issue there, so that's selective, once you, get a tenant, and you say you're paying rent, they won't be tax exempt, is that what you're saying? So
No,
the next person that comes in, you could say, you don't have to
It all
pay.
depends what they do now.
yeah.
Does everybody have to be the same in that?
No, if Cornell comes in and rents space, they don't get taxed. But if you come in as Greg Malta and Company, your space will be taxed. So let's portion it out. Yeah,
Two entities like that.
It's like what they do here, we're, not yet, but they're aggressive.
yeah, and the wire.
I didn't know.
Yeah. This whole building, so like on the 3rd floor over there's a company, a manufacturing company, that space is taxed.
Have we approved a 30-year pilot before?
So I spoke with John about that right before the meeting. Your uniform tax exemption policy allows you to deviate from your policy. Right now, the language in there gives the IDA discretion to grant a 20-year pilot with 0
pilot payments. We're extending it to 30 years just to give the LDC time to figure out extended situation, and obviously you don't want the LDC to have to potentially start paying real property taxes on this. So we're also going to ask the board to authorize us to send out a pilot deviation notice letter, and that would get sent out to the affected tax jurisdictions along with the notice of public hearing, letting them know that you're considering a longer pilot in this situation.
So is this the first one that we've deviated from the?
Well, no, we deviated like a tractor, we deviated.
Okay, so we haven't, this isn't the first.
Yeah, but not 30 years.
So this is the longest pilot that.
I gotta say, yeah, that we
For the
remember,
LDC.
and I can remember, I can't remember. Prior to. No. Yeah, 15 for solar. But we haven't done anything this stuff. But it makes sense because the LDC will always be tax exempt with the tenants.
Let's,
So as part of, so where should we make that motion and look at the 30 year? As a separate line item on this?
Yeah, the board can verbally authorize the sending of a pilot deviation notice letter.
Okay, so I think what we should do first is accept the application. And then we'll do that and set the public hearing. Is that okay?
I would set the public hearing first and
Oh.
then,
Would you? Okay.
so let's set the public hearing.
So we're gonna accept the application.
yeah, I meant public hearing before.
Let's do that. Set the application for financial assistance. The motion. John, Corey, discussion. All favor aye. Aye. Any opposed, no. Carried. Now you want to do the deviation.
Yes.
Okay, need a motion on that to deviate to a 30-year pilot. Standard, Mike, second. John, discussion. All in favor aye. Any opposed, nay. Carried. And now we'll set the public hearing for.
When is this?
To be announced.
No, Monday, the 24th at 8 o'clock.
Will be June 24th.
Yes.
Any motion? All right, thank you. Second. John, discussion. All in favor aye. Any opposed, nay. Carried. Item 11, the LDC formation. We need, resolution 79-75 to ratify this. And,
No, I don't, but would rather have Shannon.
Yeah, this is just a resolution to kind of button up your books. So the staff worked with us and with John to set up the LDC, do the certificate of incorporation, file that with the state. We're now completing an application to the IRS to get the 501c3 designation. But just to have a resolution in your books authorizing the staff to take all of those steps is just beneficial for record keeping purposes, so that's what this resolution is for.
questions?
The accounting for the LDC then.
Started.
Without a deal.
Yeah, no,
I'm sorry,
Bowers.
Bowers.
Yeah. Yeah, it's starting. As it, we're trying to get all of that still under control and how the best way to do it. So I know that Victoria and Jen have been meeting with Jen and I can't remember all the name about it. So we're close though to getting out. I mean, we keep a list of everything we're doing. But we got to figure out the best place to place all of this. So by next, I don't want to say by the next meeting, but by the next meeting or the meeting after.
Okay, need a motion. Mike, second. James John, discussion. All in favor aye. Any opposed, nay. Carried. Item 12, 577, tax exemptions. 76 through 77. Want to, I could do the rundown on that.
So there's been a lot of conversations about some Section 8 housing being built in the city of Falls. First off, there's I think it's called Project Zeta. And myself and Jim Bono met with the developers about 2 years ago about this project. But this project at that time was a little different than what it is today. So we were not aware of the type of housing it would be. At that time, it wasn't brought up at that time. I believe the housing that would be section 8 would have been developed more downtown. And M&T buildings, additions down. So now the project has changed, so we don't even have a UTEP in place to handle section 8 type housing, but there is a law in place, 577 tax exemption that allows the municipalities, the city to go in and negotiate the pilot with the developer. So that would be the way that we're gonna recommend it and really push the way for that to happen. We don't have anything in place to handle that type of housing. We really don't want to be involved in that type of housing at this time. So we think it's a better alternative. We've sent this out, this 577 to a couple of different people so they can see it. And it does say a municipality, it's not the IDA. Now, down the road, would IDAs be more involved in section 8? It's hard to say which way the governor is going on that, but there is that possibility. But right now, it's up to the local municipality, the city, to set that pilot.
When you say city, this is specific for the city or for all municipalities, villages, towns?
All municipalities, but right now, the only project we're talking about is Zeta located in the city.
So the builder and the city will decide what the pilot's going to be.
You know, I really think it would be the city. I mean, the builder can ask for whatever they want, but the city, councilman and the mayor would make that decision.
So if, let's say, Little Falls City says it's this, would we be able to say anything about that, or we just have to address with that?
Well, we're not gonna be involved in the pilot,
Oh, okay.
because I think because of section 8.2, they're entitled to a lot of sales tax exemptions. You know, it really wouldn't come through us. The only thing that they could really come to us for would be some bonding opportunity, but I think we're at max with that too.
So we're really out of it.
The way we should be, we shouldn't be, we don't have a UTEP, which is a Unified Tax Exemption Policy for those type of projects. We never planned on putting one in place. There's clearly something in place for them to work with the community.
I read this, of course. Normally a pilot is to create jobs, help create jobs. This is a little different though.
Well, see, the pilots are created for a couple of different things. One is like, especially in New York State, jobs is a small part, it could be just construction jobs. So the governor's initiative on green energy, so we get pilots there. There's not really that many jobs created there. There is in the construction phase of it, or maybe not even created, just brought in, but then they go away. Maybe there's 1 or 2 maintenance people that come through every time. Same way with housing. In my opinion, there will be a couple of jobs created there because of maintenance and management. You're gonna need that in that size of housing. But it doesn't create 100 jobs or 20 jobs or 30 jobs. So pilots are put in place, and once again, housing is a governor mandate. She wants, what was it, 800,000 new homes? You know, I don't know how we're gonna get there, you know, and I don't think they even classified what a new home was yet. So, you know, this is a way, but this has been in place long before this, so. And you know, when people ask us about it, to be honest with you, I never really dove into it because we were never involved in it. So then I started asking questions. I asked Chuck there, I asked Tony, I asked everybody, and this was the law. And I said, well, this perfectly outlines what they want to do. So, you know, I don't see us being a part of that project. But, you know, unless the board has different opinion, it's not my decision. But
Make it a local issue. And those are.
well, you don't have,
Does the county have any sort of say in it? I understand the city.
no, they'll cover the whole thing.
I think
So
what got back to us was the public image was the IDA was the nineties. Now I understand.
Initially, we had conversations.
This idea had-
Behind it.
You had conversations a couple
Conversations,
years.
they explained that, and I think the project at the time was single family and
Yeah, I
duplex
remember.
workforce housing. I said, oh, great, that's
Yeah,
what's
how can we
needed,
help?
and everybody wants that, you know, but now it's changed dramatically.
But people are crying, and of course, we always try to target somebody, the IDA and help. It's solely the city. You're saying.
The
at this
city
point,
sets up for
your
the
IDA
school and
here
the
is
county.
this route.
So the county doesn't even have a perspective.
No.
The city tries to give us on
I know.
the taxes that the county will receive, may receive on this type of property. So I
And the
guess that's
school.
something
And
to
the
think
school,
of,
Yeah.
In the school.
you know,
And the school,
and the
Yeah.
school, excuse
Oh,
me,
yeah.
yeah,
but
so,
that's the huge
All
one.
stakeholders.
The school is the big one. That's the highest stake in one we pay. You know, there's so many rumors and things out there. Was a letter to the editor. Jen found it and Victoria read it too, and they got mad because it's truly not true.
So this 577 tax exempt thing. You could, how do you explain that? That,
Oh, yeah, you got it.
yeah.
Oh, I'm so sorry, Molly.
It's, you'll have to.
Was that what?
Oh, you'll have to read it several
I
times.
won't have to.
But I sent it to
Oh,
the two.
okay, yes,
I sent it to the two legislators for Little Falls. I said, give it to your attorney down there. You know, I said that's who has to do it. It's
I
not
got,
us.
I got an email last night. Person, I know, friend, said, are you still on the IDA board? I said, of course, I'm proud to be on board. Well, you'll be discussing the Zeta project tomorrow. I said, that's news to me. You know, we're not discussing, it's not.
We were getting threatened with phone calls. I got a phone call from somebody. And he said, you know, I'm telling them to call you guys, everybody on the board, the legislature. I said, time out. We don't
Somebody
even
else
have an
thinks we're
application
doing
in front of us.
it.
Why, you're putting the cart before the horse, way ahead. And we're not even there yet. And now it's, you know.
Well,
this.
we were asked not to attend the meeting too. And I have to be honest with you, I attend all kinds of meetings throughout this entire county. I'm gonna go.
You want the Elks Club?
Yeah.
Well, I couldn't get in.
No, I know, we couldn't get in either, but the point was, we need to know about what's going on in the area. And I don't, and if they would have asked me that day too, I would have said the same thing. So it's just how one person says it, they think they're knowledgeable, like that letter to the editor. No idea what they were talking. No idea what we do. Don't call us and ask us any questions, just put out your propaganda.
So there was a letter to the editor about the IDA being involved?
Yeah.
I must have missed that.
What paper was that?
Nobody reads the paper.
No, well, Dave Warner's paper.
My
Oh, online thing?
Yeah.
Oh, my little calls?
Oh, it's, you did it in our town.
Oh, you?
It's over
Oh,
there.
it's over there? Oh, that's it.
So just so everybody knows, but please, and Alana sent me something too. And my reply to her was the guy was nuts. I'm sorry about that, but now she has the documentation too. So, and we looked at where it was. I can't say, you know, I've talked to different people in Little Falls. One says there's not enough housing available. The waiting list is months and months and months. Another person says they got 34 vacant places. I don't know the answer, but we don't need to be in the middle of it. Of course, if people ask us questions, we always reply, but until they call us up and talk to us.
Comments that were made, I was
Well,
looking
that's
at the
right.
radio the other day, well, you know, we don't have enough water and sewer in Little Falls to handle this. And as an IDA person, past official, I'm going, time out, we have 15,000 people in this city. They're all it was handled by the same infrastructure back then. You had enough water and sewer for 50, now you have less than 5,000 people, and you're telling me somebody who sits on the IDA that deals with businesses that want to come into the community, that you're out of business. Be careful what you say, you know, down the road on these projects. You can't blanket. I get it. You don't want the project, but those people have a right to live in the community too. They're people. They're humans. You can't exclude them from any community.
That's true.
So,
If you notice the sign, the sign saying no Zeta project on Reed Street.
Yeah, because there's other Section 8 housing being
Right, and I
developed.
believe that because too, the St. Louis Falls says no, because we don't want it because of section 8. They could get sued for that. That's discrimination.
Well,
That's how I
that's,
understand
well,
it.
at least they're smart for that.
we beat this.
I know I live in my little house and that's all I know.
So we're out of the ballgame. So if anybody asks you, talk to the city. All right, item 13, actually code is number 13 on the list, the Masonic building.
I don't know what to do. I've asked everybody and their brother, Victoria and Jen Welch. I mean, for grant money to do, it's not we have a small piece in that building that's asbestos, like 30 grand. Nobody wants me to apply for 30 grand. And then the rest of the stuff, the 5,000, 10,000 light bulbs, they're not hazardous. I forget what they're called now, but they're not. They don't, and all those equipment, we gotta get it all cleaned out and dried out. That's the first thing. And get those phony walls taken down and get it all ready to take a look at the next step. It's probably gonna be $50,000-$60,000. I know you gave me money aside for certain things already, but I don't wanna dip into that with a big clean out. I wanna be able to utilize that for the little things that keep popping up. But I don't know what to do. I mean, really, right, Victoria, how many? We ask, I'm on the phone a couple hours a day, just how come bulbs aren't? You know, no, in the 70s, they got switched over, they're not considered hazardous waste. Because I'm thinking, there's broken bulbs and bulbs throughout that facility. So,
We have anticipated revenues coming into practice, so we just cover it with that.
oh yeah, we can cover it, but I hate spending our money on this. I'm looking for,
So you don't wanna spend 100,000 doing this.
no, I would like to keep that, because like, we need to put a new back door on that Howie's working on today, so we can get stuff out that back area. We need to do different things in there, button up the roof a little bit. We need to, you know, start putting some screens in a lot of windows to get that aired out. You know, we took and rented a,
The storage container.
yeah, like a storage container, or like the bowling alleys that we want to keep, and a lot of there's an area that they took down a lot of the molding, they never threw it out, and so it's really nice. So we want to put that in that container, we want to clean that before they come in and do all of that other
So
stuff.
you will be reimbursed for the, up to $100,000, right? You said it was backed by.
Oh, yeah, we got tons of grants coming in for that, but I'm worried about this 50 because I can't justify, I mean, we'll get more money, I mean, the way we already set it up. So, you know, with the federal government, we applied for earmark money from Stefanik. She denied us, but that's okay because we did Schumer and Gillibrand too, and they put it in 2 different pots. So what we've seen in the past, we're about 90% there on that, about 6.8, I think we went for there. We're putting in 2 million for the DRI. We're putting in another, I don't know, 400,000 or 500,000 from National Grid. We're putting in some more money we'll put in the fall for Restore, another 2 million. I mean, we're gonna have enough money. It's just now, I don't wanna spend, I don't wanna spend our money on cleaning it out, but I can't find a way to do it. I tried, I really, I asked everybody, I can't find a way to get that. I just wanna clean it
So how
out.
much of our money do you?
I don't know,
And
2 million. No, I'm only kidding. I think between 50 and 75 should do it. I
There's
really do.
nothing the board can do to authorize you to do something like that.
Oh, you can, North. That's why I'm
You
asking.
just don't want to.
I'm torn. We talk about it every day. I don't like to spend our money on things that I think we should get grant money for. Because it should, and we looked at a new one, that Main Street, not Main Street, it's called something else now. Like a stabilization and something, but that won't clean it out either. It's coming out soon through HCR. We had a meeting on it 2 days, or last week, I think it was.
So 75,000. Is that holding up, not your dream, but our dream?
No, not necessarily. I mean, I want to get going on it. I think the sooner we get all the carpets out of there and a lot of the crap and can start airing it out, it's better, you know, and fix that one roof leak. But I don't know. I just wish, I mean, I sat with National Grid and I thought for sure, I said, just give me a couple 100,000 just to clean it out, but he won't.
Right, so how many projects out of the 50 to 75,000, what's the line item list?
Oh, it's
So the light
just,
bulbs, asbestos
Well, it's
removal, the carpet, the
Thinking
roof.
of walks where we.
Yeah, it's
nobody
clean-
trips over anything.
clean out everything, make the, down to the walls, remove the phony walls from the tanning. You know, when you went tanning there, all those individual rooms. we went to-
Is there a room named after you there?
So we wanna do that. So I don't think it'll, I mean, I've talked to some guys, John's Clean Out. I talked to, Durantis there, that kid, he's got a team that can do it. They're insured. So is John's Clean Out, he's insured too. Yeah, asbestos will be by somebody different. It'll be a small group.
What about the place?
No, the only thing everything's been tested. The only thing that's asbestos is down in the basement near the rear of the building. That's where the asbestos is.
Scrape all that paint down and just make the walls look.
If there's,
Yeah.
and we can go through it too. Howie's probably there today if anybody wants to. So I'm thinking up to and not to exceed 75.
What's the flavor?
Needs to be done. How we do it, pay for it even.
I mean, I'll keep looking, you know.
Needs to be done.
But if we go ahead and do it and you keep looking, and you find something, can you get after the fact?
I
money?
can find some way to use that money.
I'm sure you can.
So in that building, in that area,
You would start immediately on that?
I kind of would like to, because I think the sooner we can get it drying out, the better we're gonna be. Already in the second floor in the back, how we put 2 screens in, and you can already notice how much better it smells. It's just wet. We're meeting with the village to check the water and sewer lines to make sure they're good, you know.
Seems like a lot of work for 50 to 75,000.
Have you been through there?
No, I'm just saying, I don't know if that can cover.
Oh, no, it can. We got
That's a
some
lot of
free
work.
quotes. Yeah, we got some free quotes though already.
In the basement, first floor, second, I mean, you're talking the whole building.
Yeah,
They don't need to send.
I don't, it depends. We're not using any grant money, so most likely no. If I can get it to a certain amount, but we'll look at that. And we do have 2 places I can get quotes already. So. You know, and now my biggest fear now is here we are in June, because I was holding off trying to see if I could get some money. The guys are kind of busy now. You know, so I really want to get that carpet out, that great room with the carpet, that stinks the worst.
So I guess the question I would have is, I wasn't here for that board meeting, but whereas the board approved the drawdown amount of up to 100,000, why not just increase that by, say, 75,000, so that all of the project draws are contained, so that whenever the accounting is finalized, it's sort of wrapped all together.
It may be reimbursable from the grants.
Perhaps, I just, you know, the understanding the accounting part of it, I think is a important piece as well, to maybe make the IDA whole in a sense, if that's the end goal, I don't know. But I'm just thinking we have 100,000 here, 75 there. Who knows what might come up in another meeting? I don't know. This
That's
seems like
great.
it's piecemeal.
Yeah, we can adjust that.
Once you're
Might get that back, sir.
Hey,
Pardon?
yeah,
Might get that back when you grant, you know.
Yeah.
what you gotta do.
Any cash, is that what you just said?
Well, basically, it's like, hey,
Can we go that route? What do we need to do?
Just to the exist.
Yeah.
Make a motion that's extended to up to 175,000. Let's draw down. That was previously agreed upon. So, Cory, you want to make that
Yes.
motion, second by John, increase it to 100 by 75,000 to 175,000. Any discussion? All in favor, aye? Aye. Any opposed, nay? Okay, last item, Four Corners Business Park.
Anybody wants to know, the map is over there. Talking with Mr. Halleck, it looks as though we will be able to close the week of the 24th. Correct, Tony?
The target date is the 26th for everybody to get me their closing statements and final draft documents. As
Just
far as
so
I'm concerned, title is clear and we're good to go.
A few hiccups there, but we'll work through that. If we go on, you're saying we're gonna close on the 26th, or you need all that?
No, we're gonna close on the 26th. I've insisted, Jim, there's gotta be a recording order because of termination of easements and some exchange of land rights. I'm insisting, and this is in the contracts, everything closed contemporaneously with both Giuliano and Di Cristina at the table, so I can get these documents on in a particular order with the county clerk, because it's gonna make more sense to somebody who's buying it, seeing them in this fashion. And I also want to make sure, based upon my, try to put this politely, my experience with council, that I have everything that I need in front of me before the check goes across the table. Because it has been like going to the dentist with one of the attorneys. John, is that a fair, polite statement?
Well, one of the property owners calls me at 12:15 at night, and I'm like, what are you doing? You know, no, I said, you can't, you gotta deal with your attorney now, I can't deal with it. You know, Tony had to go to their estate attorney and deal with that, which is such baloney, but we're through it. And myself and Mr. Bono had meetings on the property yesterday. I have a developer coming up from the city on Wednesday of next week. Hubert Brewer met with a bunch of Micron developers, people that want to come in. They're pitching that property too. I don't think it's gonna be long. About, what is it, 76? Like that. I don't see it being too long. Yeah. It's all right there.
Not taking the strawberry patches out of there.
No, they're still part of it. Feel free, after Wednesday, we own it. You don't have to pay to rent it.
I went up picked yesterday.
We picked a lot of strawberries once we get the check.
I just have a couple other things.
All right, other.
Well, first, is there any, there's no, except for Paul.
Anything?
So everyone knows,
Paul's
yeah.
our new chairman of the planning development committee in the legislature, so he's assuming those responsibilities, so he's, I'll be always been here on and off, so. got a good name.
You took over from.
Kurt,
Oh, sure.
yeah, Kurt stepped up, new chairman of Ways and Means.
Change up in there.
So Malt now is our direct contact with the ledge. He's the department that we follow. So we'll give everybody your home and cell number out.
Please.
Feel free to call.
Any whites?
Yeah, Patty's number we'll give as well.
All right.
I
other-
set my alarm with all the.
So the end of this week, I know I brought this up before, but we won a grant from the EPA to deal with Remington Arms. Remington has let us come in the last week of this month. If anybody wants to be a part of that, we're gonna have them in. We'll go through. I've been getting a lot of drawings from Remington on the buildings too, so we're gonna see how we can repurpose that. We're also gonna be visiting Bill's school that day. That should be out of bankruptcy court this week, and we should be looking to take that. We have 2 developers very interested in Bill's school.
John, I was with the county attorney yesterday, and she had mentioned the Bill's school. I said, reach out to John. She said, what are we gonna do with it? I said, well, John's been telling me we've got a project there, so.
Well, the village is gonna take it through article, or through 19B, because they've been working on it too, because it's an abandoned site, and we'll take it from them. So it won't even go to the inland process, because it's not there now. You haven't taken the site.
Follow up.
Well, she knows we've been talking about it. So also, we won the Herkimer BOA, which we've been talking about a long time, but we're finally putting things in place. With the mayor, we selected a consulting group, Labella. They're working with us in Little Falls too on a BOA there as well. We'll be starting that soon. If anybody on the board has an interest in sitting on some of the committees for that BOA, that would be great. Please let me know. Bad thing happened in Albany this past week. 3 different bills were passed. One of them pertains to the UTEP for childcare. That's really not a bad one. We're just, if a building is being built and there's going to be daycare in it for a business, we have to look at giving them additional consideration on a pilot. Brownfield tax credits, they've already started to charge if you want to apply for brownfield tax credits on a development like, say, the dual fold. They want you to pay prevailing wage now. So every time we turn around and we're trying to do a better thing for the count, for these brownfields, the state keeps hitting us with more things. And the worst thing is that they put in now, she didn't sign it yet, but, all points are signing to it, that they are gonna require the IDA to have on its board a school, either superintendent, board member, and someone from labor. The max people we can have is 7 on the board. So I'm not sure what's gonna happen there. It's not our selection. It'll be done through the county. But we're gonna have to, by law, add a superintendent or school board member and someone from labor. School board members, I can't understand why they're okay with that when they told us they wanted us to get rid of elected officials. It makes no sense, but that's an elected person. If they say that's okay. And labor people, we really don't have anybody in Herkimer County. So I talked to Dolores Caruso the other day. I saw her at an event. And she said she'd start to think, because she has labor for the state, she's been involved.
We had this discussion yesterday about, you say labor, I know the county's got labor unions we deal with. Is it somebody, it has to be a trade union, or does it?
We're
have to
still
be
figuring that out.
CSEA?
We're still figuring that out.
And I did read in the law where they'll allow you to go to 9 members temporarily. And then and we don't have term limits here. We're at the mercy of the legislature's board. And so we don't have term limits. So as people fall off, then we can go back to 7. We need to get back to 7, right?
No, you misunderstood that. If we had term limits, they would let us raise it. But since we don't have, we can't stay at 9. Law is 7. The maximum is 7
Then
on
we should go
IDs.
back and our bylaws or the legislatures,
I'm not following.
bylaws to change, to have term limits or to have limits. Terms.
I guess we'll have to look into that. You don't know that off the top of your head, do you? For sure.
But I can look that up when I get back to this.
Yeah.
So it sounds like if the law is 7 members, 2 of us come off and then 2 new potentially come on, 1 as a school board and 1 as a labor. Or you institute, the term limits and you can raise it to 9.
Well,
Or
only,
2.
yeah, so they'll 2 term out and then you can't, you gotta bring it back to 7.
So you have to be a 7 eventually.
My biggest fear if we went to 9 is quorums. I worry about the quorum. But I just wanted you to all be aware of that.
That's it.
Yep, I think so.
Executive session.
Uh,
For executive session.
John, the Remington walkthrough, when is that?
It's gonna be more like it'll be, I don't know, but I'm gonna let everybody know, but it's that week of the 24th. We have people coming in from Cambridge, Mass. They're the same people that helped us with the dual fold, and they're gonna set up, a vision for this. Like, there's, right now, when you bring raw bar materials into Remington, you drive around and there's a warehouse you can drive right into, they unload it and do that. What can we do in that area? The other areas we're shipping and receiving it, they're only really designed for one company. So how do we expand that out? Remington has had one offer. We talked about that the other day. I don't think it's gonna fly. They think it's got value there. They're trying to get everything out of that building. They can, not the pipes and not all that, but just recyclable materials, equipment, anything they can to move that out. They've extended their labor till September now. They sent a note into the Department of Labor. We saw that the other day. So, and they're more willing now. I don't know what it is. They're even mowing the lawn. So.
So we're invited to that walkthrough?
Oh, yeah, anybody can come to that. As soon as I get the
Sure,
agenda,
set that
which will
up.
be at 4 today, we have a meeting. After we get that, we'll send it out to everybody in the board. And if you can't come to the whole time, you'll be included. If you can't come the whole time but want to stop at a certain time, we'll show you blocks when we're there. You just call ahead and we'll make sure we meet you and give you a chance.
Sneakers.
They're really not doing any manufacturing. So.
Yeah.
What
else? Anything for executive session? I don't think so.
John, you-
Oh, no, that's a motion.
I don't think we have anything for that.
All right, motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Corey, John, thank you. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Carried, we're adjourned. We now have to go into our LBC meeting.
I'll want to.